Good morning, dear students. So today we are going to discuss about the superposition theorems. You may know that electrical circuits in which when you want to determine responses, current response or voltage response or any other response, we could apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. They are the basic law which can be used to determine any response in the electrical circuits. So apart from that, there are some different type of theorems are available which are also used to determine the response based on the circuit's conditions, right? So this one of the theorem, the basic theorem, which is called as a superposition theorem, which also very important in determining current response or voltage response of a electrical circuit. So let us to see that theorem, superposition theorem. So superposition theorem is based on the concept of linearity between the response and the excitation of a electrical circuit. Response and excitation. Excitation means what? The source which is excited in the diagram or in the circuit. It states that the response in a particular branch of a linear circuit when multiple independent sources are acting at the same time is equivalent to the sum of the response due to each independent source acting at a time. It means that when you determine a response in the circuit by considering individual sources and adding all the response of the individual sources, you will get a total response that will be equal to if you solve the networks by any method by considering all the sources acting simultaneously. That means suppose if you have a circuit in which more than one sources, you determine the response for individual sources and you add them, you will get a total response. This will be equal to the response if you determine the all the sources considered together and find out the determination of the response. So let us to come for this circuit where superposition theorem is going to apply. So let us to see this. I have taken a circuit which have more than one source. You should keep in your mind to apply a superposition theorem. The circuit should contain more than one source, right? More than one source is basic requirement for any circuit to solve by the superposition theorem. That we always need to keep in our mind. It may be a voltage source, current source, or mixture of voltage source, current source, whatever it may, but it should contain more than one sources. So we have a circuit in which I have a 20-volt source and 4 ampere current source and 5 ohm resistance, 10 ohm resistance, 10 ohm resistance and 20 ohm resistance. So I am going to determine current in which branch? Current in 20 ohm resistance. Current in 20 ohm resistance. 20 ohm resistance means current in this branch. What is the current flow in this 20 ohm resistance? By applying superposition theorem, right? So superposition theorem, what it states in the beginning, I said it should have more than one source and you should determine the response by considering individual sources. Individual sources means first I should consider one source and I should determine response here, then I should consider another source and I should determine response here, then both the response should be added together to get a total response, right? So we have two sources, one voltage source here, one current source. So I am going to determine the current flow in this 20 ohm resistance due to the presence of this 20 volt source, right? So that means I am going to consider first my voltage source and I will determine the current in this 20 ohm resistance, right? So first step, let us to find current in the 20 ohm resistance by considering 20 volt only. So voltage source, right? In this case, we can eliminate the 4 ampere current source by making open circuit and modify the circuit diagram as well. Yes. you keep another one thing information that when you consider one source, all other sources should be removed. So how you will remove? The basic information that when you remove the voltage source by short circuit and current source by open circuit. Why we make short circuit of the voltage source? Because voltage source have the less internal resistance, so it will be short circuited, and current source will have the infinity internal resistance, so it will be open circuited, right? It will be open circuited. So when you are going to remove the voltage source in the circuit, it should be short circuited. When you remove the current source, it should be open circuited. This is always applicable. Whenever you replace or whenever you remove the voltage source, it should be short circuited. Whenever you remove the current source, it should be open circuited. So in this case, we are going to remove this 4 ampere current source. So it will be open circuited. The new circuit is like this. That means we have omitted the current source here. We have omitted the current source here. We have omitted the current source here. So this is your new circuit diagram. This is your new circuit diagram. So we need to determine current flow in this 20 ohm resistance because of this 20 volt source. Now this is your modified circuit. So you can solve this by any method which you have known, right? Which you have known. Means Kirchhoff's voltage law or Kirchhoff's current law, right? So if you apply Kirchhoff's current law, you have nodal analysis. One node here, one node here. So two node, the one node equation. Very simple. If you apply Kirchhoff's voltage law, one loop here, one loop here. So that means two loop. Then you have to solve two equation. So it is better here to apply the Kirchhoff's current law. That means nodal analysis, best method, so that you can determine one equation, one unknown, simply you will solve, right? So I have nodal method here applying. So this is node 1, node 2. So node 1 voltage V1, node 2 voltage reference voltage 0 voltage, right? So what you will do, you have to write the equation. So in nodal method, you have to write the current. So I have not marked here. Let us assume one current of I flowing this direction, and one current of I1 flowing this direction, and one current of I2 flowing this direction. Like that assume, right? This is 3 branch, V1, V2, the reference branch. So this is one branch, this one branch, this one branch. So 3 branches, 3 currents. So one current is flow this direction, one current flow this direction, one current flow this direction, right? So accordingly, you can say nodal equation at node 1. So one current is flowing this direction, that means I1 current or whatever maybe. So this current flowing from here to here. So this voltage 20 minus V1 divided by 5, right? And plus V1 by 10. V1 by 10 means this current. V1 current flow, this bath, V1 by 10. And another one is V1 by 10 plus 20. That current is this one, right? So that is the equation. And you solve, you will get the V1 12. V1 12 you got it. V1 12 you got it. So you need current this 20 ohm. So what is the current in this branch? V1 by this 2 resistance, the 10 plus 20. So V1 by 10 plus 20 will be the current flow. So current flow in the 20 ohm. V1 by 10 plus 20. Substitute the V1, you get the I1 equal to 0.4 ampere. So the current of 0.4 ampere, current of 0.4 ampere is flowing in this 20 ohm resistance due to the 20 volt source. Due to the 20 volt source. Due to this 20 volt source, a current of 0.4 ampere is flowing. Now what we have to do? We have to solve this circuit again by considering this 4 ampere current source. So let us to go for that step. When you consider that one, second step, let us find the current flow in 20 ohm resistance by 4 ampere. So current source. So we eliminate the voltage source by short circuit. The modified circuit, what will be there? Like this. Because there was a voltage source that we have short circuited. This is the modified circuit diagram when you consider the 4 ampere. Now you need to determine what is the current flow this 20 ohm because of the presence of this 4 ampere. So how you will do? You can apply again any method. Kirchhoff's voltage law, Kirchhoff's current law. Let us to see here. Suppose if I apply Kirchhoff's voltage law, 3 loop 1, loop 2, loop 3. So 3 loop equation. So 3 unknown. Then you have to solve them for this current. It is lengthiest process. When you go for the node method, you will have one node here, and one node here. So 2 node equation, and you have to solve them to determine the current here. And here one simple way also there, because I have a current source here and a resistance of 20 ohm here. So if I simplify this resistance into a single equivalent resistance, I may have a one equivalent resistance here. So when you get a one equivalent resistance here, you can see that one current source of total current and 2 parallel branches. So what would be best in such a cases? You will apply the current division rule. You might be knowing about the current division rule. Current division rule is applied when a total current is known and 2 elements are connected in parallel. So what I am going to do, that will be very simple. What I am going to do, I am going to determine the equivalent resistance for this portion. I am going to determine the equivalent resistance for this portion so that I can apply the current division rule. So how you will do this? For this, suppose you take a current of I is coming, I 4 ampere coming, so one current will go this way, one current will go this way, right? So when the current is coming this way, one current will go here, one current will go here. That means these two are in parallel. So these two are in parallel, that will come in series with this one. So you can simply modify this one, parallel plus series. That is what I have shown here. In the above circuit, there are 3 resistance to left terminal AB. We can replace this resistance with a single equivalent circuits. 5 and 10 are connected in parallel and entire combination is in series with the 10 ampere. So what will be there here? 5 and 10 parallel. So 5 into 10 divided by 5 plus 10. Plus 10. So this is you are getting 45.3 ohm. So your this after this portion, that means you have 3 resistance there. That equivalent is 45.3. Now you see that one total current and 2 parallel branches. So here you can apply the current division rule. Current division rule is applied when a total current is known and 2 parallel branches are there. Simply. How? If you want to determine current here, the equation will be opposite resistance divided by sum of these 2 resistance multiplied by the total current. What is current division rule? Accordingly, you need current here. So current here is equal to opposite resistance divided by sum of this 2 resistance multiplied by the whole multiplied by the 4 ampere. This is the current division rule. Apply if you here. IS total current R1 by R1 plus R2. So total current 4 ampere, R1 45.3 and R2 20. So you will apply, you substitute here, you will get the 1.6 ampere. Current division rule simply keep when you want a current in one branch, the equation will be opposite resistance by sum of the both parallel connected, the whole multiplied by the total current. That is what here also shown. Opposite resistance divided by sum of both multiplied by total current. This is what. So you determine 1.5 ampere. So now you got the current of 1.6 ampere flow through this 20 ohm resistance when you have this 4 ampere source connected. So now you have determined the response in the 20 ohm resistance for the 20 voltage source and 4 ampere current source. Now the total current will be step 3, addition of both. So you have I equal to I1 plus I2. I1 is current determined by voltage source, current determined by current source. So that is simply substitute the values. 0.4 plus 1.6, so 2 ampere. That's all. So the 2 ampere is the current flow in the 20 ohm resistance. If you want to check this answer, you can solve this network by considering both the sources together. That means you can, if you solve this network as it is, if you solve this network keeping as it is, here you will get a 2 ampere current. So superposition theorem, what we have discussed here is superposition theorem, which is saying that when the individual response is determined in the circuit and it is summation will be the equal to the response which obtained when circuit is solved for keeping all the sources simultaneously at a time, right? This is what the superposition theorem, right? Simple concept, nothing is there. That the superposition theorem is used when the circuit contain more than one sources and you have to determine response for individual sources. When you consider individual source, other sources should be removed. When you are removing the sources, the voltage source short circuit and current source by open circuit, right? After that, you can apply any method, Kirchhoff's voltage law, Kirchhoff's current law, according to your convenience, and determine the individual response, then add them together, you will get the final answers. So here one more thing we have to keep in our mind, that by superposition principle you can determine voltage response, current response, but you cannot determine the power. That means you cannot determine by individual powers and adding them together, but you can determine total current and total voltage, then power can be determined. That is what we cannot apply superposition theorem directly in order to find the amount of power delivered to any resistance that is present in a linear. Just by doing the addition of powers delivered to the resistance due to the independent source. That means we can calculate either total current flowing or total voltage across the resistance by using superposition theorem, and from that we can calculate. That means individual power response and adding them will not give correct answers, but individual response for voltage and current can be done for the superposition theorem, right? This you have to, this is a limitation, that the individual power calculation and adding them is wrong by superposition, but superposition theorem you can apply to determine current response and voltage response, right? Individual response and adding them together is equal to the simultaneously calculation, right? So this is what the superposition theorem which we have discussed today, and we will come with another theorem in the next lecture. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you, dear students.